Thank you for taking the time to learn more about Seas of Trees. Seas of Trees' goal is to plant trees globally to combat climate change while providing a sense of community and purpose across the world. Throughout this video, we will be covering how to plant a tree, the impact of tree planting, and the role and mission of Seas of Trees within this global effort. Planting trees is giving back and is an act of service. You're contributing to a healthier and happier community for all and contributing to a better ecosystem all around you. As the famous quote goes, a society grows great when old men plant trees in whose shade they'll never sit. By planting trees, you're contributing to a greater sense of purpose. You're giving back to future generations and leaving this world a better place than you got it. It's a huge thing, both not only for others, but for your own inner purpose.
Through a process called photosynthesis, trees absorb carbon dioxide, removing greenhouse gases from the air, and they release oxygen, which we need to breathe. Additionally, trees provide habitats for animals. Trees give shelter and a source of food, which benefit all, and they also provide shade, which is especially important in hot climates. Trees are also part of the water cycle through a process called evapotranspiration. Their leaves release moisture, which evaporates into the atmosphere and falls as rain onto surrounding areas, bringing water to the people, plants, and animals who need it. Deforestation is a real threat to trees and mainly comes from fires, logging, and urban development. This can cause serious harm by displacing animals, reducing cloud formation and rainfall, and contributing to climate change.
And this is where Seas of Trees comes in. Seas of Trees' mission is to advance global reforestation efforts, combat climate change through effective carbon sequestration, and foster community engagement and environmental stewardship. Seas of Trees' approach to combating the issue of excessive carbon emissions is simple but effective. Planting trees is a natural solution to absorb carbon and benefit ecosystems across the globe. Since its founding in 2020, Seas of Trees has planted over 30,000 trees across more than 12 countries with over 800 tree planters. With future tree planting projects across the globe, the impact that Seas of Trees is having will only continue to grow. And now into how to plant a tree with Leo, Patrick, and Leah on Cal Poly's campus in San Luis Obispo, California.
Now that you've learned why trees are important, let's learn how to plant a tree.
Taking the time to properly plant a tree is extremely important so that it will both mature in the correct way and grow up to be a full, healthy tree.
So step one is to survey this planting site. Is it hilly? Are there other trees around? Is the soil wet? Is it dry? These are all good things to consider when planting a tree.
Another thing to look at is there a lot of gopher holes? If so, you might want to put a protective netting or some type of cage around it.
All right, so the first step to actually planting the tree will be digging a hole, and it's going to be about as deep as the roots section of the tree and a little bit wider so that we have a little bit of room for the tree to grow.
All right, for the next step, you're going to want to gently remove the seed from the container. By this, you're kind of want to go around and make sure it's loose and very carefully remove it. If a little dirt falls off, that's no big deal, but make sure the root remains intact.
All right, so the next step, we're going to plant the seedling into the ground. So we've already dug the hole, and we want the seedling to be at or slightly above ground level. This is to prevent root rot or stem rot, I should say. So we don't want the stem of the tree to be underground because that really only the root ball should be touching that soil. So we'll just fill it in.
And fill in the hole with dirt and make sure the soil is compacted all around the tree. If exposed to dry air, tree roots dry out and can eventually die. Just make sure that does not happen.
All right, as we fill it in, we'll compact the soil. We're almost there.
If you have access, placing some mulch around the tree can always be very helpful. In this case, dirt will suffice, but if you have the extra resources, it will help the longevity of the tree.
Mulch helps by retaining some water and also preventing weeds like these from growing up around the newly planted tree.
And here we have it. Your tree is about ready.
It's looking good.
Again, the acorn is still above the ground level, and by doing it in this fashion, this tree will have a better likelihood of surviving, and we can see a full tree which can contribute heavily to our ecosystem and help the environment overall.
All right. The final, but maybe most important step of planting is watering. Watering will ensure that the root system is able to establish itself in this new environment. So make sure to thoroughly water the tree. All right, and make sure when you're watering, allow the water to permeate into the soil and do it a little bit at a time as to not flood the soil. So we'll let it soak in and then water again. You've done it. That's it. And that's it. You've planted a tree. You did something good. Give yourself a pat on the back.
This is a huge step in helping the environment. Not only will it take carbon dioxide out of the air and produce oxygen, but also help wildlife and help the environment overall. So this is a major step. Thank you for being with us, and we wish you the best of luck.
It look tiny right now.
But one day, it'll make a big impact in so many ways.
As soon as your tree is planted, it will already provide so many benefits. Small insects like a ladybug might use your leaf to lay its eggs, or larger creatures like this bird may use its branches for shelter. Once it matures, your tree will release about 100,000 liters of oxygen in 1 year. That's the same as releasing 1,321 fish tanks worth of oxygen in the air for us to breathe.
Every minute, 36 football fields worth of trees are cut down, making your tree more important than ever.
Thanks for taking the time to learn more about tree planting with Seas of Trees. This video is brought to you by Net Impact Consulting at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. Now it's your turn to get out there and start planting.